All right, today's service call is that an exhaust fan is not working. It's all smoky in the kitchen. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna leave it off for the moment. I'm gonna get the lid pulled off and we'll have a look at what's going on inside of this thing. All right, here's the deal. When I walked up, the fan wasn't running. Okay, what I didn't catch on camera, the first thing I did was I opened it up and I realized this was one of those weird OEM direct drive motors, okay? So I flipped up the fan and I spun the wheel with it off, and I noticed it was a little tight, but it kind of spun, right? But it felt like it broke something free. Then I came over here and I tested voltage, and it has 120 volts coming into it with it off, okay? And then I turned it on, and it started to run. Now, I think that the motor is going bad because it was kind of tight, and then when I spun it, it broke free, and now it's running. I don't know if it's supposed to have the shaft coming through the motor like that. I don't know if that's right. I mean, it doesn't look like it's wrong. Here's my issue. When we have these weird direct drive motors, I think they're dumb, okay? I get it. They're energy efficient, they're PSC motors, whatever. You know, they save the planet. That's great. But I can't go get this motor in an hour. If this was a belt-driven motor, I can go find it at any supply house and get something and make it work. In this situation, it's running. I'm gonna go ahead and take some currents on it and see what the motor nameplate says on it. But this is not a motor that I can go pick up at the supply house. I'm gonna have to order this direct from Greenheck or from their distributor, which Greenheck's distributor is about 2.5 hours away from where I'm at right now, because I'm out in the middle of kind of nowhere. So I've got regular supply houses, but not Greenheck, you know, or Accurex motors or anything, right? So that's kind of one of the downsides. So I'm not gonna turn it off again because I got it running. I'm just gonna get some specs off of it and just kind of visually inspect a few things. It says 10.1 amps on the motor, and this one is running at 4 amps at the moment. What's interesting is if you look at this motor looks like it has a speed controller built into it. It has like some knobs and stuff on the side that say speed adjustment and different things. I didn't do anything other than lift it up and spin the wheel. And like I said, when I spun the wheel, it was tight at first, but then it broke free and started spinning really well. So I think that we've just got a bearing in the motor or something like that that's going bad, that's causing the issue. So it's running at the moment. I don't know for how long, but like I said, I don't really want to shut it off because they're in the middle of cooking right now. So at least it's doing something. And I'm gonna have to get some information off this fan, and I'm gonna probably go ahead and get him a replacement motor for this. I've been watching it. I mean, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. It's still not running any higher current than it was. It was right at 4 amps. I just took my amp clamp off of it. Now, another thing too, I'm not 100% sure this is an ECM motor. I just was assuming it was. I do think it's a little bit odd that the shaft is coming out the backside. That's kind of different. But I don't see anything wrong. The motor is getting rather hot though, like really warm. But other than that, like I said, it's running, so I'm not gonna risk turning it off again. I don't doubt that it's gonna get stuck again or whatever, but at least they got something, and I'm gonna start making some phone calls. In a perfect world, I'd like to change the power pack assembly. The power pack assembly typically will be the motor, the base plate right there, and the wheel. That's usually the easiest when you have to deal with these situations. You usually pull the top off. The power pack usually slides in there. But we'll see. We'll see what I can get my hands on. I'll still call around. I do have a motor shop that's about 1.5 hours away that sometimes has some odd things. They wouldn't have the power pack assembly, but they might just have the motor itself. It has a good Greenheck part number on the side of it. Greenheck and Accurex are the same. Just one's a higher end brand. I think Accurex is the higher end, like fancy brand. I don't know who owns who, but same stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna put it back together. Like I said, it's running. I'm gonna leave it be and then make some phone calls. I found a little manual, and I am right. It is an EC or a ECM motor, basically. So electronically commutated motor. But yeah, here's like the instructions. I don't know if any of that, I think it's all built into the motor that I have. This one's showing like a module. I think it's built into the motor, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Not really anything fancy going on in this, but It's always good to leave this stuff when you do installations and things for the next guy. Well, I am back. It took him a while, man. It has probably been a month since the first clip was filmed. Took a while to get this approved. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but we finally got a new motor for this guy. We went down the path of looking for a new exhaust fan. The motor was a week out. A new exhaust fan was like a month out, 3 weeks out, something like that. So it's going to be faster to get a new motor, and it seems like we got here just in time because we have had to come back out and restart the motor a few times. But what I'm noticing, see if you guys can hear this. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's speeding up and slowing down. Speeding up, slowing down. In fact, it looks like it just stopped. I don't know what that's about, but regardless. Turned it off at the disconnect switch. We're gonna hinge this guy and see what we gotta do to get the wheel off of it so we can get it replaced. From the looks of it, I've gotta pull this whole assembly out. So what I'm doing is I disconnected the conduit and we're gonna pull this out, and this whole piece right here looks like it's gonna slide out, possibly. That's the plan at least. So we'll have to pull like these to come out, and it's like I tried to get a whole power pack assembly, but apparently they don't, those aren't available, but I kind of doubt that. I don't know, so we'll see. All right, got the whole power pack assembly out. No issues with that. So we're gonna get in here, get the wheel released. I don't know how this comes out, but we'll figure it out. It's a little tricky. Now that I look at it more, it's actually a taper bushing setup. So I release these, put them in here, and thread them down, and it's gonna separate the taper setup. So then just slowly push these down, and it's going to separate this inner piece, I believe. So I guess maybe I could have done this with it up in the fan, but oh well, it's all good. The other thing I'm going to do too is measure where the shaft is on the taper, so that way we know when we put the new one on exactly where to mount it. Right at 2 3/4 of an inch is right where it is. So now what we need to do is just push these guys in. Do it till it's snug, and then the same thing on the other one, and then we'll do even pressure, quarter turns to separate them without bending anything or damaging anything. Okay, quarter turn, quarter turn. There we go. Now I just got to get these out. I don't know if I'm happier that the grease is cold, because if it was warm, it would be all sticky and everywhere. So I guess it's better that it's cold, but it's just hard to get things free. Oh, I think it's spinning. Dang it. It's just not my day, is it? Wait, no, it's not spinning. Is it? Yes, it's spinning in there. Good gosh. The nut is spinning. See if I can get in here and hold it. That's annoying. There we go. Okay, there we go. Ah, no. Because there's supposed to be a washer on every one. Ouch. They don't really make these fans very cleanable from the inside. They have a lot of weird grease ports, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not a grease cleaner. You know, a lot of people wonder like why I don't clean the fans. I got enough stuff to deal with. They got specialized companies that do grease cleaning with special tools, and it's not something that I'm gonna do. I work on enough stuff. Nice and snug. Now we need to focus on getting this guy off. So it looks like there's a set screw right there. It's going to go into that key. So we need to go ahead and clean this guy up and get it off. Okay, this is penetrating oil. We're going to set it on here. All over that spot, all over the shaft. I may or may not need sandpaper. We're going to find out in a minute. Let's go ahead and take this set screw out. Find out what size it is. It's definitely not it. Wait a minute. Is that a set screw? It might not even be. Oh no, it's not even a set screw. It just slides off. Oh, okay. I thought it had a set screw. What is that for? No, that is a set screw. Huh. Interesting. Let's get the key out of here. That doesn't want to come out. There it goes. There we go. Alright. That motor goes over there. So what you can do on these is just run them. Just to clean them up. There we go. Nice and clean. And then we're just going to put this guy here. Slide this guy down. There you go. Okay. And then we need it at 2 3/4. About right there. Okay. About right there. Yeah, that's kind of tricky. Go ahead and mark this shaft at 2 3/4. Right there. Now let's see if this set screw will just hold it in place, maybe. I don't even feel it really doing anything. It's kind of weird. So is it, I think it just is held in place from the wheel, is really what's going on here. So we get the wheel on there, get these guys out. Gotta be careful with these wheels, they're aluminum, so you can damage them. It's already got a couple little nicks in it. Hopefully it's not throwing it off balance. So this is a taper lock, like I said, so we're lining it up to the threads. Because to bring them together, you want to thread it. To take them apart, you want to push it. And if you understand a taper lock, that's how it works. Okay, I'm going to snug these, and then we're going to pull it up to where we marked it. Okay, now we're snugged and I can see my mark. Right there is where it needs to be. Now we need to evenly tighten them. One, just quarter turns when snug. There's a snug turn. You got to do it evenly so it pulls up into the taper. Nice and even. Okay, let's double check my 2 3/4. Right at 2 3/4. Looks good. We'll keep tightening. Yeah, that's about it. Don't want to break anything. Hold it nice and firm. Good to go. Ready to put this guy back in. There's like a little nick on the cone in here. Here, I'll show you. Right in here, there was a nick and it was bent out, and that could affect how everything goes back together. So I just kind of straightened it a little bit. Now we're going to assemble. So we got that back in. Now the top piece is going to go on. You can see the marks. We lined it up. As you're doing this, I spun the wheel already. It's not hitting anything, and we're going to keep doing that after each step to make sure nothing binds up. Now, just hooking up the electrical, motors there. Then we got to bring the power over and figure out the wiring, because this is a multi-volt motor. The other one was just a 115. This one can go up to 460. So, oh, cool. Tells you right here. If you're dealing with 208, 230, you just open this and isolate it. If you're dealing with 115, you leave it closed. Oh, I guess it's not 460. It's just 120 to 277 is what you're allowed to use for it. All right, we are ready to fire it up, but before we do, we want to verify that we have the right voltage coming in to the unit. It should be 120 volts. 121, okay? So we're good there. Now, we need to clamp onto this guy. If I can get in here. It's allowed to run 10 amps. And 1, 2, 3, please don't blow up. Let's give it a second. There it goes, it's running. And it's only running 2 amps, but we've got a speed rheostat right here. We can speed it up. This little guy right here. Looking good. All right, we're gonna let it run for a bit, make sure everything's okay. Make sure it doesn't shake too much. Let it get up to speed. Notice it's coming up. It's got like a soft start to it. So I gotta find out what the old one was set at for the speed, and then we'll try to match this one to it. That one, the speed rheostat was set to the max, so I went ahead and maxed this one out. So at max speed, we're running 7.6 amps. No issues there using the Fieldpiece SC480. If you guys see me using tools in my videos and you like them, go check out TrueTechTools.com. I have an affiliate code, big picture, one word. On most of the items on their website, if you use my affiliate code, you'll get an 8% discount at checkout, and then I get a small commission from that. So like for instance, the Fieldpiece SC480, you can pick that up and I know you'll get the discount on that one. There's just a few other items that it doesn't work on, but it's a great way to help support the channel. Anyways, so we're maxed out on our speed. We're running at 7.6 amps. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Let's let it completely stop. Make sure it restarts properly. And we should be good to put everything else back together. It's crazy how long it took to get this approved. And actually, I got the motor 2 days ago. I just couldn't do it yesterday, but. All right, so oh no, it's still rotating. It's weird how the shaft comes out the back of the motor. It's interesting. All right, we are good to go. Let's go ahead and test this again. So it takes a minute. It has a soft start feature because it's an ECM motor. ECM motor is just a DC 3-phase motor is all that it is. Yeah, we're looking good. Again, current is where, you know, 7.6, 7.3. I don't see a problem with that. So we're looking good. I'm just going to keep assembling everything. All right, I am happy that went smooth. All is well, wasn't too difficult. Guess technically, well, wait, no. Yeah, no, I had to pull it apart. Yeah, now that I think about it, no, I had to pull it apart like I did because that was the only way to get the wheel out. Because we could only see the bottom of the cone, so we wouldn't have been able to get the wheel out. So no, I didn't do too much. Pulling it apart like that's what we needed to do. I'm glad that it was an early morning thing because the grease was hard. It wasn't all soft and sticky. But yeah, that's it. I didn't see any excessive buildup of grease on the wheel. No issues with that. So they should get a little more time out of this guy. And the only criticism I have of Captive Air or Accurect, same company, is that motor should be readily available in Southern California. We're one of the biggest metropolitan areas. You know, I always talk about how easy it is for me to get parts, and the fact that that motor was like a week out is ridiculous for a critical piece of equipment like an exhaust fan. And I even asked for a new fan. Like, you know, fan was, I think they said 3 weeks or a month out. And that was using my local distributor, Norman S. Wright. So those motors need to be stocked in Southern California for these customers. If you're going to be selling these customers these fancy exhaust fans, we need to have the motors and we need to be able to use something, you know. I wasn't trying to put an aftermarket thing in that because I just didn't want to get involved with that. This is a variable speed motor, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the only criticism I have. Other than that, it was an easy process, and I really do appreciate Greenheck for what, you know, their fans and stuff. They have good quality fans. I really think that they need to, well, they have gotten rid of that stupid hinge assembly. They did come out with a new hinge trying to mimic the super hinges. It's not the same. I still like the super hinge better, but the new hinge isn't bad. I've installed quite a few of them. It's just not as pretty looking as the super hinge is all. But yeah, I'm glad they got rid of that silly thing. But you just got to make sure you ask for the right hinge assembly when you order the fans. But other than that, that's it. I really do appreciate having the safety switch on the outside of the fan rather than on the inside of the fan. So that's something that I really like about these. Yeah, and that's it. So we're going to give the customer the keys and tell them to keep an eye on it. I took you guys through a little bit more of the actual working process in this one. Hopefully it didn't get too long, but you know, I tried to show that I truly do talk to myself when I'm working. Like that commentary you hear is literally the banter that if I wasn't filming, I'd be just randomly saying that banter. It's just kind of strange how my brain works. But, you know, initially we got a call that, and this is what just baffles me. We got a call that an exhaust fan wasn't working, and I get there and they're full on cooking. They just had all the doors open in the building. Smoke was rolling out into the dining room, into the kitchen, and they were just like business as usual. These restaurants don't understand that they have fire suppression systems. And if they're constantly cooking, they're going to set off their fire suppression systems because they have automatic, you know, dispersion basically, right? I think that's the right word. But anyways, they have fusible links that can melt. And then when that happens, boom, it starts, you know, spraying the chemical
fire retardant, basically, to kind of slow down the flames or put it out, which is just crazy because these restaurants just don't understand what can happen if they continue to cook without an exhaust fan, especially with these newer restaurants. Older restaurants, the distance between the cooking appliances and the hood was a lot more. You know, they had more redundant exhaust fans, but these new restaurants, this restaurant literally has 2 exhaust fans, one for their flat top and one for their fryers, and that's it. You know, and they're 2 separate hoods, so it just baffles me that they continue to cook, but they don't listen. I try to tell them, even on the phone, stop cooking. I'll be there in a bit, you know, whatever. And then it was also funny, too, because as I was leaving the first visit, another service company pulled up. And it's actually someone that I know, so we sat there and talked and kind of BS'd for a little while, and he kind of laughed. He's like, I don't know why they called me out here. And it was just kind of silly. To the gentleman that came out, you know, I've ran into you a few times. It was cool talking to you again. So anyways, but it was just kind of funny. Like, they just randomly start calling people, and I'm like, whatever, here's my bill, you know? But it took a while. I tried to get a new replacement fan, like I said in the video, but it was going to take longer than it was going to take to get the motor. And my rant at the end of the video still holds true. I think it's ridiculous that these exhaust fan manufacturers, Greenheck, Accurex, I'm talking to you. But the same thing goes for Captive Air and Cook and all the other ones too. If you guys are going to put fancy motors in your fans, they need to be available at your local distributors. They can't be a week out. You know, like, that's just ridiculous. I did expedited shipping. So they had to build the motor, or they had to take the motor, program it, and then ship it to me. And I still did expedited shipping, and I want to say it took just about a week to get it. And it's like, that's silly. Like, what happens if they were completely down? I would have had to sell them a competitor's exhaust fan or another exhaust fan from, you know, somewhere else that I could get a fan right away. And again, I tried to get a replacement fan from Greenheck, and they didn't have those in stock either at my local distributor. So, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not really, like, it is what it is. The customer's buying these fans, you know, so they're the ones. I mean, inevitably, I just told them, I was like, yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, worst case scenario, if it completely took a dive, yeah, I would have bought a replacement fan, you know, just something that made it work there. But it's just silly. If you guys want to make this brand and you want to push your direct drive motors, which almost every manufacturer is going to almost all direct drive now, which whatever. But, you know, and they all want to use different motors. And I get it. They want to be able to sell their parts. But at the same time, it's like, what are we supposed to do when a fan goes down? You think this restaurant really wants to just shut down operation? I don't know. Whatever. Hey, I'm just the silly mechanic. I'm, you know, not smart enough to make these big people business decisions that are made when they go to these fans. Whatever. It is what it is. But you guys saw the process. Verified that we had the right voltage. There was clearly something going on in that motor. I will be doing like a autopsy on it eventually. I have it in my van. I got to go through it. I just don't have time right now. But maybe I'll make a little video when I tear that thing down and try to figure out. I suspect that there's something going wrong in the ECM module that's causing the issue, I suspect. I don't know, though. But we'll see once we pull it apart. But yeah, that was it. I mean, nothing too crazy. You guys saw the process that I went through. Also, one thing I do want to point out, they have a rubber roof, the TPO roofs. You got to be careful taking those motors and setting them down on the roof because you don't want it to penetrate the rubber membrane and cause a roof leak, right? So you notice that I was always putting it on the grease diaper, or I was putting it on the rubber mats that were on the roof. Always be cautious about that stuff. Be careful not to damage the customer's roof. All right. At this point, you guys get everything. You saw the video. You guys see my process. You know the way that my brain works, you know? I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video. So thank you very much. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. Go to truetechtools.com if you want to purchase any tools. You can use my offer code BIGPICTURE, one word. You'll get an 8% discount on most of the items on their website. I get a small commission. Great way to help support the channel. You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com. We have merchandise, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, all that good stuff available. Great way to support the channel. Last but not least, there's affiliate links. Links to PayPal, Patreon, and YouTube channel memberships, which are all different ways to make a monthly commitment to help the channel. There's links in the show notes. You can do that. But you know the easiest way to support this channel? It really is so easy. It's funny. Just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way to support this channel. So again, thank you so very much. We will catch you on the next one.